Hello, wrestling world. Coach Kennelly coming to you here with another episode of my origin series. So I went over how I got introduction. I did a little bit about my experience with the Southside Panthers, Chicago Panthers, Burbank Panthers, just the Panthers, I think they were called. And I showed a little bit about my transition from the Panthers to that next step to the Vidum Cats. In this episode, I'm going to dive into that Vidum Cats because that's really what I think really changed my opinions as a wrestler. And it was my development years, whether it was the years or the team, some sort of magic happened there, and it just worked out really well for me and really helped mold my life going therefore forward. So I grew up right outside of Chicago in a little suburb called Burbank. It's we touched the border of Chicago, so we're right there on the south side, but it's also very segregated. Like it was almost all whites, and I could walk a few feet and it's almost all blacks. I go a little bit this way and it's almost all Hispanics. They're mostly Mexicans or Puerto Ricans. And I go the other way and it's all whites, but they're whites that like talk Polish and stuff, and they don't even mess with me. So we were like a little south side Irish, just small little place, and kind of like a little mix that started to grow into people, but still mostly whites. So then when I'd travel with wrestling, I'd get outside of my comfort zone and I'd start to meet new people. And that was just a really big thing for me because now part of my life that I embrace is diversity. And without experience in sports outside of Burbank, I don't think that I would have got that because it was a really segregated place. And I see people that stayed there. There's a lot of closed-minded people, and it's a nasty situation. Growing up in Chicago is different. Like whatever color I wore, I might get checked on that, who you is. There's a lot of gang stuff on that. Put your hat a different way, you roll up your pants. Like there's all these rules you need to know about how to move and maneuver in these situations. And if you didn't know how to play the game will play you. And I'm not going to say I never got played. I mean, I've been held up by a gun, I've been robbed, all that, and in and out, there, back, and the other way. But that's also helped mold me into a better coach. And going into the South Side of Chicago, Vidum Park, it was a great experience for me. And the first thing I remember when I went there is I might have drilled a little bit, but I remember there was these groups like takedown circles and they were going live. And they threw me in with their best guys right away. And I think I took down one or two and they kind of like tiered it out. Like, okay, this guy should be, give you maybe a run. This guy's a little better. And by the time I started going through some guys, I was like, dang, these guys can really push me. And back in my town, you get in trouble if you get caught putting your hands on each other. At this park district, there was fights in there. There could be gang members outside, but nobody messed with this little area of the wrestling room. When I walked past, they'd be some of the baddest dudes and the best-looking girls. There's a lot of distraction. You could have went over there, they're party, twerking, drinking, smoking, do whatever. And that looks appealing to a lot of young men for sure. But I had some good guys like, no, you're coming this way. My dad would just bring me in the room, or I'd go with the other Burbillies. The Kernatz family was a huge influence on me. Their dad was a big game changer, and just their dad and my dad would take us in a van and travel all over the country. And we were some bad dudes back in the day. Jimmy was probably the baddest of us all. Steve was a state champ. I was top 3 in the state. So we had one of the best freshman recruiting classes. I'll go into my next story into high school. So we were some tough kids in Burbank. And we'd go out to Vidum Park and we'd bring the heat. So instantly they saw this and they wanted to get us part of their program. We liked the atmosphere, so we signed up. And then where it really changed for me, because I was doing tournaments before, but now we got into the IKWF and we got to start doing these things called dual meets. And they were super exciting. They run them just like the high school, college, points and everything. So now I'm not only wrestling for me, but I'm wrestling for my teammates. Like you might win, but now you got to get the pin. Or you might be wrestling somebody who's really better than you, but you got to keep it close. Or you got to not get pinned for your team to win. And that was another dynamic that just really blew up the sports for me. We won a team state title at Vidum, and that's the only state title I have till this day. And even if they meant the points going wrong, but we got shirts that say we won it. I don't remember the exact situation. It was someone, our 189-pounder, I believe he weighed in a little too light to bump it up. We bumped him. He won the match. They did like some paper stuff later on. Screw that. We're the state champs. We won the match on the mat. You could say my guy's like a 0.4 or something light. Big deal. We bumped up. We gave it to you. Ain't no weights in the wild. So I definitely consider that my state title, and I take very much pride in that to this day. And that propelled me to have better individual state tournament, and that just propelled me to be a better overall wrestler. Something that room gave me was an atmosphere where people are national champs are really getting after it. And also, I think every room needs somebody that's about equal skill. You need somebody that's going to beat on you sometimes. And you need somebody that you could beat on and handle technique on. And you need to embrace all those almost every practice. If you're the best person in your room, hopefully your coach is giving it to you or somebody else, because you're going to need to sharpen that knife when you go out and you get tested. You get in deep waters. If somebody's practicing every day with other good partners, that's going to be a tough bridge for you to maintain. That's why some kids at bad high schools go to clubs. And I see the resource for it. And this was a beautiful club, like I said. And then we would always, like you said, if you beat your little area, what do you do next? You travel outside your little area to go. So we would beat up. In Chicago, we had plenty of competition. We didn't have to travel very far at all, but we did to make ourselves better. So then one of my favorite events is we'd go to the Reno Tournament of Champions. This is a big livestock arena. Brackets would be like Fargo now. They're taller than you. And it was kind of like a folk style equivalent, I would say, of Fargo at the time. I'm not sure. I think it's moved a little more to Iowa now. But that was big time when we were coming up. And we won that as a world team. And they called that the World Championship. So we actually had a few other guys locally from Chicago. It wasn't all Vidum cats. But we combined with our coach called Team Trooper. So he would bring us all over the country, just getting us these high-level matches with people. So when I got to high school, nothing was new. The state tournament didn't scare me. The national tournament didn't scare me. These are all just events. And it was a really beautiful thing. I'm making sure, yeah, we would go to the Tulsa, Topeka, all that stuff. And I remember one year I got all the gear, and this is really, I look back on it now and thank my dad. But I didn't go to the tournament for whatever reason. I don't know if I was burnt out, injured, had something else, but I remember I took off one, and he really didn't make too big of a deal about it. And now, as a coach or a parent, I could see a kid skipping a tournament. I have to take back and consider what they're doing before. I had a senior, he missed his chance to go to regionals one year. I was about to grill him out. What did you do? He donated his kidney to another one of his best friends who needed it to live. If I didn't take the time to ask that student first, I ruined that relationship when he's doing something very noble that everybody can, respect. Some family members won't even give it to their kidney. He gave it to one of his boys. So just take the time, if somebody doesn't want to wrestle that day or whatever it is, to really ask them and figure out the reasoning for that. And, Vidum took the time to get to know us. I learned some jokes, and it wasn't always the most appropriate, safe sport room, but we had fun, and Dirty Southside, we got down. It was just a beautiful, beautiful time, and definitely a big part of my development. And the last thing I took away from there is you look good, you feel good, you wrestle good. When you'd come, and it wasn't hard to find our fans, our team, whatever. We'd come in lime green, crispy. You'd see us from across the room. That's when I came to Milwaukee. I made the team the Big Cats, referred away lime green. So when Big Cats come in, when Vidum Cats come in, you see us, we're there. And then you're going to notice us that we don't want to see that lime green person. We had the late great Didi, R.I.P., and he would always keep us so crispy. I don't know if he owned a clothing business or what it was, but our singlets, our uniforms, like we would be the crispiest team, and we would get to travel. And they really treated us like a top-notch Division I type of program when we were junior high athletes. So that really propelled me, got me to loving wrestling, got me a lot of opportunities going into high school, which I'll discuss the transition from junior high to high school in my next one. But once I got to Vidum, I got some success. Like we said, the team state title. I was top 3 in the state. Went on to win a cadet folk style title. I believe, I've been trying to look up this AAU tournament. It was something in Chicago, I think more than high school. It gave me an AAU national medal, and it was folk style. Results are hard to find. So I remember it being, I thought it was a freshman division, now what seems to be the cadets. So that was a big transition, and next I will discuss the Chicago high school scene, because boy, they had some fun stuff there, and it was a lot different when I moved to Milwaukee. So thank you for watching, and as always, there's going to be peace and much love to you.